Wonderful good day, ladies and gentlemen. It's still PDAC 2017. Last day, the floor is closed, but as you see, we are moving on with our interviews. We have just been in the offices of Teranga, and now we are here at the Royal York Hotel in the boardroom. And with me here is Luis Zapata, who is the executive chairman of Montan Mining. Luis, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Montan Mining, what's the company about? Where are you based? Where are you located? What are you doing there?
Great. We're in Peru. We're a diversified precious metals producer. Our main business right now is we have two plants, one that we just acquired in January in the south of the country and one in the north of the country that we're currently acquiring as we speak. In the south of the country, we have a 120 ton per day permitted plant, mostly focused on gold, carbon and pulp circuit. We're in the Atico Valley. We're by ourselves, lots of mineral around, historic big mines producers that we can get mineral feed from. In the north, we have an interesting business model. We just picked up a fully cash flowing and operating flotation plant, 100 ton per day float plant. Yeah. They also have a 25 ton per day gold circuit.
There's a mill also with it?
Yes, totally built. It's been running for about 8 months now. It's on track to do about $2 million US in EBITDA this year.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Nice to have, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. So when we talk about Peru, this a little bit like toll milling comes to my mind, but you are not a normal toll miller, you are a mineral processing company. What is the difference?
Sure, the difference is, we have two plants, but we also have a mine and we have 10 concessions. So really what we look to do is we look to drive mineral from our mine or from our concessions to the plants. On top of that, we layer, a third-party contract ore feed to come to the plants as well. But the long story in a short way is that we do not want to depend on third-party ore. We want to depend on our own mineral.
Interesting. Okay, and you said you have 10 claims, of course, you have a mine. Can we talk about like mine life? How long is this, or is this sustaining? Is it just more for the short frame? Do you have to replace that soon? How does it work? Please give us a bit of an idea of your business model then.
Sure. When we picked up our first acquisition, the Cerro Dorado project in the south of Peru in the Atico Valley, we really liked it because it was a plant and a mine, right? So the mine is called Rey Salomon. It has about 2,300 tons of 13 grams per ton material that was sold. It was sold to some pretty well-known Canadian processing companies. It's all oxide material. We went to the plant and site about when we first started doing the acquisition. We went underground. We did a sampling program. We think the mine can do about 10 tons per day at about 10 grams per ton for about 6 months to a year. After that, we have some interesting, outcroppings and vein systems and the other part of the properties that we're really keen on that we'll start exploring soon.
Okay, great. Let's talk a bit more about the numbers and how your business works like. I mean, you said with the one plant will generate like $2 million EBITDA. What are the plans for 2017?
Well, the plan for 2017 is really, number one, is we got to have to close the acquisition of the northern plant, right? That acquisition is in progress right now. As far as our production metrics, in the southern plant, Cerro Dorado, we can do about 25,000 ounces. Look, you pay a miner when he comes to drop off his mineral, you want to pay between 50 and 60% of the contained value of gold in the rock, right? If you look at those numbers, we can do about 25,000 ounces. I call it a cash cost of $800. That's the production profile in the south. In the north, we have copper right now because only the flotation circuit's fired up. But there's also a gold circuit, a carbon and pulp circuit, which is 25 tons. We're going to build another 75, so call it 100, so we can do similar numbers in the north and south.
That's interesting. When you say it comes to copper, that's a bit for me more interesting in that sense. How do you do that? Because I understand copper is, let's put it that way, a bit less of value, so you need to move more material, of course. Yeah, I mean, 1 ounce of copper is a bit less than 1 ton of copper, which you have to move. So
for sure.
What are your costs there? How do you do that?
Well, mining is all about grade, right? So in the northern plant, the average head grade of copper that we're processing is about 3 or 4%, right? So you concentrate them to about a 30% concentrate copper, right? And actually, our offtake, the current offtake is Trafigura. They think it's great offtake. It's very clean material, and there's high demand for it.
Absolutely, copper is in high demand. That's for sure.
Exactly. So look, it's a business. The copper line, it's 100 tons per day. That's going to fund the gold line in the north, right? That's how we look at it. So we can, the plant cost, employee cost, the general G&A cost can be borne by the copper line, and we'll make all our high-end profit from the gold.
Great. So we have gold, copper, and how about silver?
There's silver credits. In the southern plant, you see silver, in the north as well. The interesting thing about Peru is when the miner comes for their mineral, when we're buying gold mineral, we usually do not pay for any silver credits. So that's straight to the bottom line of the company.
That helps a lot, I would say.
Yes.
Great. So what are, let's say, the longer term plans? How do you want to grow the business? How do you want to play the business? Do you want to stay in Peru? Do you want to, let's say, go outside the country?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, right now we have two plants that are permitted to 125 tons each. Actually, the northern plant just filed their application for 330 tons. So organically, we can grow from where we are now. I think we're in stage basically 1 of our existence. Stage 2 is, call it 125 tons per day each plant. Stage 3 is 340 tons per day per plant, which is
a lot.
That's a limit for, small scale mining permits in Peru. That's our organic growth. We can, I think, eventually call it 10 million plus in EBITDA is achievable from these two plants. The next step is obviously regional expansion. So, we're looking at pipeline opportunities in Colombia, in Bolivia. I think that's the sweet spot.
Okay. And how do you fund those?
How do we what, sorry?
How do you fund those expansion
Oh,
plans? Do you have to raise money, or can you do it out of cash flow?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, we always look for assets that are not leveraged. So in the case of Cerro Dorado, we picked up an asset that had $4.5 million US spent. We bought it for, call it $500,000 Canadian.
Wow.
The northern plant, it's had about 3.4 million spent. We're paying 6 million because obviously they're actually making money. They're making $2 million a year by the end of this year. So, in terms of the acquisition metrics, we're always buying accretive acquisitions. As how we fund them, we try to get our assets that are not leveraged, and then we can put leverage on top of that at attractive terms.
Fantastic. Last question. Let's come a bit on the, let's say, company structure. How many shares do you have out? What is management's share in that?
Right now we have 74 million shares out. We're live on a financing right now. We're doing, $500,000 at 5.5, so we'll have 82 million shares after that. Management and board, we own around 15% of the company. 15, yes. And insiders and institutions own another 15. So, 30% within insiders, I would say.
Okay. Major shareholders, any well-known people or funds?
Yeah, we've had 3 groups. Palisade out of the US, they're a pretty well-known merchant bank. In the last round, we had an institution here called Alpha North come in, and Crystal Wealth. So we've had 3 institutions come into the last round. It's the first time we've ever had any institutional investment, and I think that speaks to the credibility of these assets, really.
Absolutely, great. Will you list on the exchange in Lima?
Yes, that's the next step.
Super, I like that.
As soon as we close this acquisition, we're looking to bring in some proven shareholders and list on the Lima exchange.
Great. Last question from the perspective of a shareholder.
Yes.
When do we see dividends?
Oh, I think 2018. Pretty feasible target, yeah.
Wow, that's okay. Super. Luis, then, thank you very much. We wish you all the best for that, and we look forward to further updates then.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there was Luis Zapata, the executive chairman from Montan Mining. And you heard it. It's not a toll milling business. It's an integrated mineral processing company. And they started small, now growing the business, organically growing the business. They can go up to easily, would put it that way, almost to over 500 tons per day. And they're on the gold, copper, and also in the silver business, so well diversified, and also plans for the future to go to Colombia and elsewhere. So very interesting company. Check it out. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Toronto.